All right. Hopefully on Friday you went into our 2-point perspective folder here and you did the introduction to 2-point perspective. Hopefully Monday, yesterday, you did the building upon 2-point perspective forms. So that's where you built upon what we did Friday. And then today, you're going to click into this 2-point perspective, mapping it out. Okay? So if you are lost, you don't know where to go, you need to go to our home Schoology page, to that yellow perspective folder, into 2-point perspective, right? Because now we're done with 1-point perspective. This is what we did Friday. This is what we did Monday. This is what you're doing today. All right. So, a little bit of catch up. Friday, Monday, and today. So again, we're in that 2-point perspective folder now. Friday, you should have drawn 10 shapes into 2-point perspective. Okay, they should be cubes or rectangular prisms. That should have been done Friday in your sketchbook. Then yesterday, Monday, we built upon that, right? I told you to take those 10 cubes, rectangular prisms, watch this video, and then add on to it. So you should have added on 5 holes, 5 attachments, and 2 different forms. This first video you were supposed to watch at 9.5 minutes to the end. Okay, this went over how to create holes and those attachments. Second video here, you needed to start it at 3:50 and watch it to the end. This went over how to draw a few different forms, and you just need to pick 2 others. Cone, what else was there? Pyramid, something else other than that cube or rectangular prism. Okay, 2 different ones here. Then you were supposed to submit that sketch here. If you did not get this done yesterday, finish that first, okay? Get this done first before you move on. If you're done, you can go ahead and move on to this folder today, the 2-point perspective, mapping it out. So you should have some of this done in your sketchbook here. All right, let's zoom this out a little bit. This is what I want to see. I want to see 1 different form, add another one in here, add some holes, add some extensions, okay, extension, hole. Play around with a few different sizes. You can see that this person has added some smaller extensions, a little bit of a bigger extension, some smaller holes. Test it out, okay? See what's working, see what's not working. If you have questions, ask a neighbor, and then if you have questions still, feel free to ask me when I come back, okay? In today's folder, all right, you should see something like this. This video will be linked in here as well. I'm telling you the steps, exactly what you need to do today. Step 1, after you submit that stuff we just talked about, okay, that stuff that we did on Monday, you can now map out the idea for your project in your sketchbook. What you map out for the project, you will submit here, all right? Your map does not have to be drawn in 2-point perspective. I just want to see a quick sketch, quick layout to make sure that you're going to hit all of those requirements, okay? The requirements should be posted at your tables, and they are also posted on Schoology, okay? So you should see this at your table or on Schoology, both hopefully. All of your shapes will use 2-point perspective technique, which is where we have those 2 vanishing points, right? And again, for your quick sketch, you don't need to do this, but for your project, when you get that black piece of paper, you do need to do this. All those shapes will be chopped off into space, so all those extra converging lines, erase them, okay? Get rid of them. Make sure you are drawing very lightly. Overall composition will show shapes above, on, and below the horizon line. Okay, so when you draw out that horizon line, practice making some of those shapes on the horizon line, above it, and then below it. Okay, don't leave them all in the same plane. You should have 2 vanishing points, okay, 1 on each side. You will need to have 10 shapes or buildings, and you'll see what I mean here in a second by buildings. They need to be connected to each other through ladders, stairs, slides, pipes, anything, okay? They can even just be like stacked on top of one another, which is why we did that practice where you added a little attachment onto a shape you already made. So they need to be connected somehow, some way, and there needs to be 10 of them. After you get that done, just like you did with the 1-point perspective project, you will add a light source. We're going to use white charcoal, okay? So no more color, we use white charcoal, thinking about that light source and adding value. Don't worry about this yet, okay? Worry about laying out that sketch and worry about making 10 shapes and how you're going to connect them. Oh, you can't see that. 10 shapes and how you're going to connect them, okay? Light source comes later. So I want to see that rough map, a rough idea of what you are doing, just to make sure that you are going to hit all of those requirements, okay? You will submit that sketch again down here. After you submit that sketch, let me show you what mine looks like here. It can look something like this, right? It doesn't have to be anything perfect. Thinking about where's my horizon line, okay? Where am I going to lay all of these different shapes that are going to turn into forms? Keep in mind that we are not drawing the shape whenever you work in 2-point perspective, right? You start with a line, and then you take those top corner, bottom corner of that line to your vanishing point. But for this, it's okay if you just lay out flat shapes for your map. All right, so I'm making sure I have 10 different shapes that are going to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm thinking about how I want to connect them. Maybe a ladder here. Maybe that this part of this will run through this part of here. Another ladder. Maybe a tube. Maybe some stairs. I'm going to cut a hole here. I'm going to cut a hole here. All right. This is what I want to see for that mapping sketch that you will submit to this assignment here, okay? So it's not super detailed, it's just your game plan. I want to see what your game plan is. So we've finished up 1, finished up 2, you've submitted that rough mapping sketch to this assignment. Now I want you to go up to that podium in the front of the room, okay? There should be a black piece of project paper and vanishing point flaps. I'll show you what I mean here. So you should see a black piece of paper. Pull this back a little bit. Alright, this is our project paper. Take care of it. It is your baby. Do not crinkle it, do not bend it. Mine's got stuff all over it. You should also grab 2 vanishing point flaps, okay? Your vanishing point flaps you will tape on to the back of your paper, not the front of it, the back. So you should have red tape at your seat. You will take that and use it on the back of this flap. You want them to hang off the edge of your page. That way you have lots of room to build all of those forms. Okay, so you can see here I have vanishing point 1 on one flap, vanishing point 2 on the other flap, and I have taped them on the edges. Alright, on the back. Not the front, the back. So you need to grab black piece of paper, vanishing point flaps, draw in your horizon line, and add in vanishing point 1 and vanishing point 2, okay? And then you may lightly begin drawing in 2-point perspective using your map to help guide you, alright? No one should be starting with charcoal today, alright? You have plenty to do. No one should be starting, but this is roughly the direction we are moving. So you can see, just like in my map here, I decided I was gonna lay a form here, some forms down here. I know you can't see it very well. One here, connecting it with a ladder. Alright, this is the direction we're moving. Today, I just want to see you finish up the sketch in your sketchbook, work on your map, grab a black piece of paper, attach those flaps, horizon line, vanishing point, start drawing very lightly in pencil, okay, very lightly in pencil. I think that is it. I will be back Wednesday through Friday. Ask your neighbors. Don't be afraid to ask your neighbors for help, okay? Thanks, people. Good luck.